What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another week and another episode of Unscripted. We're bringing you professionals from all walks of life. We touch on their backstory, their mindset, and how they navigate through adversity and opposition. I'm your host, Akeem Haynes. In this week's episode of the show, I'm joined by my former training partner, Amir Webb, joins me on the show. Amir is a 2016 Olympian, a two-time USA champion in the 200 meters, a three-time NCAA champion. He's also a part of that prestigious sprinters club to run 100 meters in under 10 seconds and under 20 seconds in 200 meters. Now, here's the thing. Amir doesn't really do many interviews, right? Well, he really doesn't do any interviews, but this made it a little bit more special to hear it from his voice and his journey to date. This episode, we talk about growing up in Carson, California, why his mom moved him to Tustin, California, how he tried to find his identity in sports and away from it, his experience at Cerritos College and why he stayed focused despite what was going on around him, the hilarious story behind why he picked Texas A&M University, struggles after college as he turned professional, how frustration almost made him walk away from the sport in 2015, and how his first team that he made as a senior was actually the Olympic team in 2016. And how he deals with balance and life lessons that he's learned navigating through that, as well as mental battles such as anxiety, depressive moments, and how he handles all those moments to date, and so much more. A lot of people they see the results and they see Amir on paper and all the things that they may think that they know about him. But I believe this episode will give you a little bit more insight and give a different light behind not only Amir the sprinter, but Amir the person. So without further ado, enjoy this week's episode with Amir Webb.
What's up with this camera angle, man? What's going on here?
Damn, you trying to see me?
Yeah, bro. The people want to see you, man.
You're gonna show people the I thought it was a podcast where people be just talking, like you hear the audio.
Oh no, the people want to see. The people want to see you, but people want to see you, man.
Yikes! I didn't know that was gonna be.
Oh no, we good. Cause.
I would have had a whole, go for it.
Oh, bro, it's good, bro. Man, one of the questions people used to ask me all the time, bro, when we used to train together is, yo, what's Amir like? You know what I'm saying? What's Amir like? Because in the aspect of people, bro, you don't really do much interviews. You don't really do much of this. And I appreciate it, right? But what I think most people don't understand is, man, you've always been like a deep thinker. You've always been thinking about a couple things at a time, more than just track itself, man. And for them to understand Amir, we got to go back a little bit to the beginning, man. Let's go back to Carson, California, man. Born there, but raised in Tustin, man. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what were those dynamics like growing up, bro? Because I hear a lot of different things about California in different parts. I grew up pretty tough, right? So I know certain parts of violence and crime and what that may look like, but what was the dynamics around you like when you were growing up, man? And what is there to do in Carson and Tustin, California, man? Never heard of them.
Well, Tustin and Carson are definitely like they're on the map for sure. But at the same time, they're not your Hollywoods, they're not your Inglewoods and Compton names that stick out like that. They're just kind of like calm cities, but around the cities that are, commonly known or associated with, what I mean, like either a turn up or a crime or whatever it may be when it comes to California. Being that I'm from Carson neighbors Compton. My mother and father are from both Carson. They're from same neighborhood, damn near, mile apart.
Yeah.
Banger. So that being said, my upbringing when Carson, in Carson was that my mother didn't want me to have anything to do with that kind of stuff coming up. So she was like, all right, I'm going to take you to the better schools. And then here's why we're talking about Tustin. Tustin is in Orange County. The beautiful OC, the show, all that stuff, you know what I mean? Bougie, all that stuff, right? Like, you know what I mean? Though I didn't live that lifestyle, but it was just for my mother, it was just like, yo, go to these schools.
She didn't want
it. Just exactly. And for the most part, I honestly didn't mind because I would see the other schools, the ones in LA County, like they have one pair of books. I had I had a take home pair. I had a at home. You know what I mean? So like resources were just perfect. You know what I mean? So like, especially for me, because I would always lose stuff. So having 2 pairs of books, so things like that. Like she, she just wanted me to grow up and have like not be associated with any of those kinds of things. So that being said, like like I grew up in a weird way, like where like you're a black kid, and then you go to this freaking school where there's like a whole bunch of white kids, and then there's you. And then like how my mother would always bring me up is like she would always speak in a way that was kind of, I don't know, professional, right? Or like, you know what I mean? Like she didn't sound like, the black girl from the hood that she was, like, she'd always put on the front. And so like I would pick up on a lot of my surroundings in the schools as well. And then, so just to understand me and how, because a lot of people perceive me to be like this angry or he's not fun or, you know what I mean? Like he's always frowning
but that's the thing, like, you're like the complete opposite. And I'm just like, he's probably one of the most people that you can go and talk to. And he's gonna probably crack a joke with you. So it's just interesting. But I think everything that you're mentioning as well too, because I mean, that was back in the 90s. So like things was different, right? So the fact of what you were talking about, it makes complete sense.
Yeah. So for me, like, all that, like, it's for me, I have to deal with being almost like, so just a little bit about my background. My grandmother's a white woman, and my grandfather is a completely black guy, just, solid black. You could probably recall his own mother being a slave type. You know what I mean? Like, even further back, like those kinds of things. And so, mother's mixed, but like if you look at me, like you can barely tell that I am mixed, but I was dealing with, I would say like someone who's like, you could just look at him like, yeah, you're mixed. You know what I mean? Those mixed race kids and how they would deal with, you're black or, you know what I mean? I was kind of low key dealing with the same things, even with my skin tone being as dark as it is.
That's crazy.
When I would open my mouth, and they would hear how I speak, because like I said, my mom's always speaking professionally, the schools that are around me, you know what I mean? So it would just change my speech entirely. So when I would get around like, black people, I'm from Carson, you know what I mean? The whole feel like they would kind of disassociate themselves from like, no, you talk white, you know what I mean? So they don't want to hang out, or, you know what I mean? I'm acting different because I'm just like, I'm a product of my environment where like I grew up. And, I'm from here, but I'm, you know what I mean? So I have roots here, but I pick up some of the things that are here. And so like, I'm just a mixed bag of all, different kinds of things. Like most kids in the hood, we're listening, just to straight rap music. You listen to rock music, you're, you know what I mean? You're a white kid. But at the same time, that's what my mother listened to, because, her mother was that way. And I grew up in those, you know what I mean? So like, I had lots of different influences, and not just the main one that, you know what I mean, that you grow up in the city, that's how it is for you. I moved around so much. It was just, I can never tie my mind to one thing. Like, this is what I am. This is what I do. So a lot to understand me would be just to understand that there's a lot of different entities that have been poured into me. I traveled the world at this point. Before then, I've hopped around to different cities and different high schools. And so like, I know how to just speak with anyone, whether you're white, black, purple, or green. I tend to just kind of loner myself a little bit, because A, that's just kind of how I like to be, and B, I don't know what your pretenses are. I don't know how you are going to, you know what I mean? So like, and I know I'm not a simple person, like you can just snap your fingers and be like, that's the kind of guy he is, or you know what I mean, or peg me a certain way, because that's just not me. I'm somebody who takes a little bit of warming up to, you know what I mean? I believe even sometimes you and I would kind of like, our interactions with one another on the track, I would kind of come around, it's like I had to figure you out. I'm like, okay, what kind of person this is? And I think it took a lot of that for you on the same way. Just like, all right, this guy he's jokes, you know what I mean? He may looks this way, but you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, and then there's same time, I'm not a goofy joking person who's not really having any real thoughts, like the real thoughts, you know what I mean? Like if you miss, they might go over your head if you know, I'll say it to you, but I'll laugh. There's some type of thought-provoking thing that I'm actually trying to get at you in a funny way. And that's just kind of like I said, as I kick back and as a loner and I see things and how they operate, that's just what I do. I do that. So when it comes to having fun around here, like in Carson or Tustin, I honestly wouldn't know. I've always put my face in sports. Like I've always been in sports. I really don't have time. If there is, like, if I have a little bit of energy left, most times I'll save it and stay in bed and do nothing.
If you do any sports, like, you know exactly. He doesn't even have to break it. Like, you know, sometimes sometimes it hurts. I remember sometimes I was so tired that it hurt to stay in bed. And I was like,
yo, it gets like that. You're like, yo, if I waste this little energy, like, will I get it back? Well, I need something to build on for tomorrow's training, or you know what I mean?
Like, come on, man. But Amir, I gotta ask,
energy.
man. Did you, with growing up in different parts, different cultures, different things, did you ever internally maybe wrestle with identity and kind of finding out, like, man, like, where do I fit in? Like, was that ever a thought that came to mind? Or were you okay with the fact of, you know what, I'm different. This is the situation of what it is. I'm gonna keep it pushing. Or did it bother you?
Oh, it bothered me tremendously. Like, I think it took, what helped me out tremendously was my success in sports. You know what I mean? Because though, like, I'm noticing, like, I'm like, dude, I'm such a weirdo. Like, this is tough. Guys are saying things and, like, they're supposed to be funny. Everyone else is laughing. That wasn't funny. That wasn't funny at all. That was so basic. You know what I mean? Like, in my head, I'm like thinking, like, this cannot be it. Like, why am I so different? And yeah, I struggled that with time and time. But what they could not deny in my heart, or just in my mind, is like, you could be super cool out there, and I'm not fitting in any groups, but there's one group that, you know what I mean, I do fit in, and it's the athletic group. You know what I mean? There's one place you can't deny me. There's one place where, like, you could be the cool guy at the cool bench at school, or, you know what I mean, as you know, just. But for me, it was all like, yeah, but when I'm on the field playing both ways in football, and you're on the bench, that's not the cool bench to be on anymore. You know what I mean? Like, now you, after the game, and when we get back to school, you know what I mean, things will switch. But today, while there's tons of people in the stands, and you know what I mean, and I'm on the field, and you're with your clean jersey, and you know what I mean, I feel good. So there were times where, like, where I didn't feel special, but there was moments in my life, you know what I mean, like 24 hours a day, 5 days out of the week, 6 days out of the week, on that one Saturday that I would get on for football, you know what I mean? Like, yo, like, this is my time. I am special. They're just putting my name over there. You know what I mean? So it would buffer the things that I would feel from time to time. Just like, yo, like, maybe I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? My grades suck. My mom's yelling at me. I don't have friends. Like, I got friends, but really just, I'm not a follower. You know what I mean? I'm not going to follow these people around. And so, like, yeah, so that kind of repeated as I got older, knowing that there's no cool bench anymore, but at the same time, there is a clique that you may want to be a part of. But then again, I look at the clique and I'm like, yo, that's not me. You know what I mean? And I wanted shitty. So there's things that I was always just juggling in my head. Like, how can I be, I tried to conform. I tried to, like, well, let me go do the things that they do. And it's just, again, it was not me. And it just took me time to just, like you said in the end, just, eventually accept it. You know what I mean? You accept that you are different. And then eventually I started to see that people appreciate people who are different. You know what I mean? They do like those kinds of people. And to be unapologetically you is so liberating. You know what I mean?
Bro, that's 100% spot on, man. Like, I remember even now in my life, right? Like, if I don't really see a purpose to it, I'm not going to do it. Like I remember one time I was invited to this golfing thing, and people were just like, man, Akeem, bro, golf is great. This is how you meet people. This is where deals are closed. And I went golfing one time, and I was like, I've been invited 6 or 7 times since. I've never went back because for me, I'm just like, one, I get frustrated because the game is, I'm tapping the ball and the ball is going over here. And I'm just like, I'm not a big drinker like that. And people drink at these things. And it's just a lot of conversation that, to me, I'm just like, I don't really want to have these conversations. I just don't really care like this. But the thing is, like, you have to stay true to yourself, and people respect that. And I think, like, in a world where everybody is often sometimes trying to get over on people or try to get the edge, you just do anything and say anything to try to get it. So authenticity, you said, is liberating. But what most people don't understand, bro, is you were a dual sport athlete, right? You were on the gridiron during the week. On the weekend, you were on the track. Man, walk me through a little bit about that, man, because a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but most people who are exceptional track and field athletes, they usually played other sports as well too. What did you enjoy more?
To tell you the truth, and even now, track is so boring. It is the most boring sport there absolutely is. I don't know why people do it. I actually do know why people do it. I know why I do it. It's because I was just right. So that I like to win. I'm competitive. You know what I mean? And I have a football. I would say a football mentality. I have a ball mentality where like I like to play with, you know, football, basketball, whatever it is. Like football, I'm the better one at because basketball is a little, you know, it's a thinking man's game. I'm not saying I'm an idiot, but I'm just saying it's a whole lot where I'd rather just run into the hole and just dunk it, or, you know, whatever I can. Like I'm not trying to pass, you know, none of that. Like I'm trying to give me the ball, I'll run this dude over, juke this guy, get to the sideline. All right, next play, run it back. But yeah, I will say to this day, track sucks. It's the most boring sport there is. I do it because, like I said, because I'm successful. I go out there, I run, I cross the line, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it is, and it's over. Yeah. I trained time all day, 3 times a day, whatever it is a day, for me to run for 10 seconds, and then they sweep me off of the track. That's it. Get out of here. And that makes me so mad. Like, no, let's run again. You know what I mean? Let's run 3 times for 100. Like, you know what I mean? I think that would be so much more fun. But for me to just go out there and run one time is trash. It really is. And then I don't know why. And then I feel like there's certain events that need to just be scrapped altogether. Like there's a whole bunch. I don't even know how many events there are. I don't know how many, you know, what's a good, you know, a good mark. And you know what I mean? I've been doing this for years, and I literally, that comes track and field. It's so low. And that's all I know. I'm like, I don't really value this. I value the fact that I'm good at it, and I just want to be better. You know what I mean? If there was no money in it, I probably wouldn't do it. Honestly, I probably would not do it. I would do it in the sense that maybe I would do it because I just want to beat people. Like, you know, I just want to go out there and run. You think you're fast. Yeah, the competitiveness is what will bring me back. Just like, all right, let's run it. All right, and I beat you, and then you know what I mean. Then okay, you want to race again? And I would do it in that sense, but to like, you know what I mean. If it's not, you know, paying off in some kind of way, I wouldn't. And I guess that's with everything. But definitely, I'm a football person. I would play that right now if I could. You know what I mean? I try to, after a certain while, I started to try to, after like training with track for just like, I want to say like 5 years, I tried to do something like basketball games, pick up basketball games, and just kind of little football pickup games too. And I can't go left and right anymore. Like I really cannot. Like, I mean, I can, but like the aftermath of what's going on, it's like, like, my insides of my soles of my feet are purple because they're like bruised. It's like, you know, because I'm changing directions like I haven't been before in a while. And I've just been going linear this whole time. So like, man, that path is just kind of like cut off for me just a little bit. Like, so yes, football, those are the ones.
When I went back and I was with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, I got used to the movements, right? I got used to the movements because I had months prior to training, get ready for training camp. But bro, the plays, it would be like X razor C5 option left. I said, am I going left or am I? Because it's. I just think the hardest transition is not necessarily the athletic ability to be able to adapt and learn stuff, but it's the talk and the functionality of like, I haven't played football in so long, and then you're just like, I don't even know what this means, right? But
yes,
one thing you and I have in common, Amir, before we even met, apart from the track and field aspect, and only there's a small window of people that will understand, right? The junior college lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? You went to Cerritos College. I went to Barton Community College. I know what the experience was like in Barton Community College. It was terrible. It was hard. It was tough. But to be honest, I enjoyed my time at Barton more than I did at Alabama, right? Because it forces you and molds you to build a bond and to look outside of yourself to see how bad you really want something, right? But walk me through your time at Cerritos College. I mean, what was that like? And because California junior colleges, they don't give any types of scholarship, right?
No, they don't. But if you're in California, you really probably don't even need a scholarship because you actual legit community college. So like you just need the regular FAFSA, right? So like to just pay for the tuition and tuition, like your units, because your units, if you were coming out of, if you didn't live wherever Barton was, then your units go from, I don't know, maybe $20 a unit to, I don't know, like $100 a unit now. So now if it's a 5-unit class, you're paying $500 versus just paying $100. So with the FAFSA would cover all of that, and then it would give me pocket money as well. So
so you got a little bread on the side? You got a little bread on the side?
Like, look, check me out. So people will go to community college all the time just to collect, they be there for 3 days after the FAFSA hit. And then you would never see that kid on campus again. This dude, many people would do so many stupid. It's the biggest scam. People would do so many stupid things with their money. Like some people will go get that money, and like I said, it's like at least like 2 G's, right? 2, maybe 2.5 G's in your pocket. Now, this you coming out of high school, you ain't got no cash, nothing, like, you know what I'm saying? So if you staying at home, which most people are staying at home, I was staying at home, so that means $2,500 in your pocket. So now, as a person who has a brain in your head, you should be thinking like, this is $2,500 for the semester. I don't have a job. I do school and I go do my little sport on the side, and I come home, I do my homework and repeat. I do that over and over and over and over and over. My mom's ain't about to give me no cash. She ain't never gave me no cash. I don't know how your family, but if you in Carson around the Cerritos, you probably live in the same lifestyle as me. You not getting no cash. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So again, let's go back to $2,500. Now, the $2,500, you need to buy your books. Okay, so that's just about it. Your classes is covered. Buy your books. You don't want to buy your books? That's fine. There's little ways to hustle around that. But these fools will go out there, buy a car. And I'll be like, what are you doing?
Money's gone already.
Your money is gone. What gas are you going to put in that car? We just spent it on the car. And people like, oh, that's cool. They would get it and they would try to flip it on drugs. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to buy a bag of marijuana or whatever, like a big old thing of it, and then they just try to flip it that way. And I was like, this is absolutely insane.
So people do this like consistently at those junior colleges in California.
Yes, at least at Cerritos I knew, and the people that I knew, like they would like, because dude, I used to drop some of them off to their houses or whatever, and like there'd be areas and I wouldn't even go to, like, you know what I mean? I felt bad dropping some of my teammates off at these places, and I'm looking around, they have street lights, but the street lights ain't on, or they're super dim, coming in this tall building. Some of the, places in there are all boarded up. I'm like, I don't think anybody's in there. I think you're just kind of finding an empty room and laying down. Like, but you know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm in no position to, I got no space for you, so I'm not going to ask no questions. I'm just going to let you do your thing. Hope you make it all right. You know what I mean? But there were some things like, so I could understand as to why, but again, I can't say that, you need to do it my way, where you need to save it, because how I handle it, like, I had a car, like, my parents did help me out with a car. It's kind of sort of like, they're like, oh, you could borrow this car, but it's like nobody else was using it, so I used the car. So it was my car. And then like, so in my head, I just think, okay, I need books and I need gas money. Right now, mom is already, that's the time I was staying with my grandmother. So my grandmother was making sure, she always cooked every night. So I always had a meal every night. Yeah. Figure out my lunch, you know what I mean? And that's what I would take out of that fast food money. I would buy my books, I would take out of fast food money. I would take it out of my fast money if I needed gas. I was being responsible. Like, I could have blew the money on a car, on a down payment on a car. I could have did a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Flipped it, a lot of those things. But at the same time, the dude who got the car got his shit towed. You know what I mean? Now you don't have money to get the car out day one, and every day that the car is in there, there's $300 more. Eventually, the car that you bought it's gonna cost more to get it out than what the car is worth. That was that story. The dude who was just flipping it for the weed came after he was doing good for a little while. You know what I mean? Like, he was, came up, did his thing, started wearing some new clothes and stuff to school. I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? This guy's turning up. And then came back a couple months later, had a black eye and some shit. I was like, damn. Then he was like, showed us at practice, because like I said, dudes on team. And he said, yeah, I got this. You showed me a taser. And I'm like, what do you have a taser for? I'm like, well, jump last time, because these dudes, I was like, damn. So like I say, it's just kind of like you could do things that way, and I would say you should have did them out my way, but I don't know your situation. Like, you know what I mean? You maybe you couldn't afford, or maybe, you know what I mean? In your space by doing these kinds of things. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't a great thing to do in your situation. Like, don't I understand you got to get it, but at the same time, you can't be walking around in your neighborhood with a bag of marijuana, dude. They're gonna get you.
Yeah.
You can't be driving a car that you can't afford. You know what I mean? Like, it's so. Growing up in, I would see so many ways to handle things, and I would see like, yeah, that's not it. Versus probably going to Division I university, you know, you got the whole full ride and everything. Kids they're not going to make those dumb decisions. Like, I mean, everything's taken care of. But like when you see people who have to do what they have to do, and you see a bunch of paths you can go on, and you don't actually have to take those paths to learn from them, because like, oh, I see how that went down. So that was, for me, community college was like that, just learning, but at the same time, it was fun as hell. Like, everything was so fun. I wasn't competing for a scholarship. I wasn't just like pressured by Pac-10s or whatever the thing may be. You know, someone's on my head about, you know, classes or whatever. Community college was like, yo, you don't have to go to school. No one's waking you up to do nothing. You could go there if you want to. You really just need to just go. If there's someone who on the team that showed up every now and again. But for me, like, I don't even know. It wasn't so much as like, oh, I gotta work hard, or it was just, what else am I gonna do? You know what I mean? More so like, I'm gonna just stay here all day and do nothing. I'm not about to slang no drugs. Like, that's not me. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna do. I have no need to do that. You know what I mean? It's not that deep. But you know what I mean? I'm just getting out of high school, so like, why ruin the routine? Just keep it up. You know what I mean? I didn't get the big scholarship coming out of high school because I didn't have grades, but nothing in my head ever said no. Don't break this routine by just doing nothing. You know what I mean? Don't go to class, go smoke, or go do nothing. And I had somewhere to come back to always, but it was just never in me just to go sit there and do nothing like that. That would just blow my mind completely. I always wanted to play a sport, so I showed up. And you can't play sports, just like if it's below 2.0, you can't play. So I made sure I had 2.0, and
Bro,
I ran different.
That's so crazy, man. Over there, y'all were living, bro. Over in Kansas, every single day, it almost felt like I was carrying like my whole team, not just me. It almost felt like I was waking up, putting my feet on the ground with like a weighted vest on my shoulder, and not just me, all my teammates, because it was like, yo, we're here. Whether you're here because of grades, whether you're here because maybe you did something wrong and this is your second chance, but it was like, yo, we have to get a scholarship. We have to get out of here. So I know for me personally, like, my teammates did some different things, but I was kind of wired like you. I was like, man, you know what? I'm not going to get distracted by stuff that doesn't concern me, because I don't want to go down that path. Because look, if they get to go home, they can go to a different school. I'm going back to Canada in a different country, and our system isn't like that. So for me, it wasn't a hard decision to not focus. It was like, yo, I have to. I see what they're doing. I don't want that. I'm going to go this way. But obviously it worked out for you, Amir, because then you took a scholarship to A&M, Texas A&M. But why did you pick there? I mean, I would have to think maybe the times that you were running at that point, you probably could have stayed in California. I mean, things seemed like it was, family was there. It seemed like things could have been just fine. But why A&M?
I chose A&M. So like I said, I grew up in California, never left California. I had lots of so at the end, I had went 20.3 and 10.16 my sophomore year in at JC at Cerritos, and I didn't have not one offer from anybody. Like, I didn't know. With those times, no one was talking to me. I didn't know what was going on. So I was like, and this is, mind you, this is after I had just like ditched football. So like, yeah, because football wasn't giving me any burn either. Orange County, pretty much, to be honest, you're from Orange County. You're just faster because you're from Orange County. There's no black people in Orange County. So, but now that you're here in Cerritos, where we're surrounded by a whole bunch of, in the black area, they're just as fast as you in there. So like that, I was like, oh, screw off then, like, you know what I mean? So I left. So then I went to go play just track. I ran those times. And then again, I'm like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Mind you, after I left football, I didn't have a plan at all. Like, I was just like, I guess I'll just finish it out and do track. Didn't think you could actually get a scholarship from track. But, as I'm doing it for first year and then my second year, like I said, I end on those times. I'm not hearing nothing. I'm like, well, I thought I could get a little something or a little whatever, what have you.
What?
And then I start checking. So a coach from another college, because my college wasn't doing any help. They weren't promoting me or giving people my number, my contact. So these people may have been interested, but they had no idea on how to contact me. And again, I wasn't looking for nothing. I actually used to write letters to colleges. I said, hey, I wrote one to Oregon. I wrote one to a couple people like, yo, these are my times. I'll sound like, looking back, I'm like, you weenie. Like, I'm over here.
Anybody get back to you?
No one got back to me.
With
no,
10, and 20.4.
No one got 20.3, 10-16. No one got back to me. So then I was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? So like I said, the other coach hit me up and he's like, all right. So he pitched my name. So then once he did that, I got in touch with A&M. And I was like, okay, cool, sure. At the time, I had no clue. I thought it was one of the fakers in my head are like, okay, so we have Stanford, and then we have, I don't know, another, Berkeley or something. But if it's like I guess Berkeley is kind of the same. I would just say any school that was like a Cal State or whatever, or anything like that. If it just didn't have one name, like, okay, this is the University of Texas. You know what I mean? Like, it was a fake college, and I'm like, I'm not trying to go to those state fake colleges, and that's what Texas A&M was giving me. I was like, what is this place? You know what I mean? Is that even a real college? Probably one of those D5 colleges, and I'm not trying to go there. But shit, they were talking about whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. So like, I had booked stuff with them, but when I had booked with them, I started checking my Facebook. And I was just getting offers and offers all through my Facebook. I was like, whoa, Clemson, Georgia, all these schools, USM. Like, oh, I was like, I don't know how professional this is. You just guys contact me through my Facebook. Like, I don't know if that's legit. Who are you? It was kind of weird through that way. Long story short, I ended up going to Texas A&M, first plane ride at that. Took the plane ride. It was the worst experience in my entire life being on a plane.
Wait,
I was like,
the worst?
The worst. I couldn't imagine a worse way to travel was by air.
Yeah.
And that's because for me, like I said, my mind is always kind of running and going. Yeah, you know what I mean? So when I was on the plane, sitting between people or next, just in that chair, the chair didn't adjust like I thought it would. I'm like, this is a miserable way to sit. And I was like, how long did I sit? 4 hours?
Yeah,
4 hours?
That's a journey.
With no why? Yeah, I'm like, dude, I can't do that. I'm not the type of person who can handle that kind of anxiety. Like, just like, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, so I'm trying to download. Anyway, just trying to do so much just to feel that time. And even in what I did bring, didn't. Like, I was like, this is miserable. So I finally got there. I was like, oh, thank God. Get to Texas. I see it. I like how professional they were. They picked me up on time. Yeah, I think it was just their professionalism that got me. Like, they were just all together. No one was, janky, didn't pick me up, he wasn't full of laughs or anything. He's like, this is, he treated it like it was a business trip. Like, yeah, we are welcoming you. Okay, all right, cool. He took me to the campus. The campus was clean, big campus. I was like, this is a legit facility, just a legit school. I was like, okay, so maybe you guys aren't as small as I thought you were, because College Station is massive. So I'm like, okay, cool. They're showing me stuff. And then what I didn't know, even with me having talked to them before, several times before me taking the visit, was these guys had won the national title like twice. Like, they won men and women's one year, men and women's again. And then they did 3 times, and both men and women's. Like, oh, so you guys are really good at track. And mind you, like, if you previously, I don't like track. It was, I'm just doing it because I'm successful at this point. So I don't know anything about the schools that are good at, haven't looked it up. I'm just going direct athletics, and I look at my time. I'm like, I'm at the top. I'm not at the top. All right, this weekend we're gonna go to the top. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
So when they brought, all right, cool. You guys are. So I was like, all right. So I thought to myself, well, if I'm gonna do track, I should probably come here because you guys win all the time. So you know what I mean? I'm like,
1 + 1 = 2. It math adds up.
Yeah. Why would I go anywhere else? Like, apparently, you guys got a formula, and it's working, men and women. And I fit in that category somewhere, right? So, boom, in there I was. This is a recipe for success. I joined the team. So before I left, I told them, hey, yeah, a verbal commit for sure. If I had any papers, I signed them now. And so I left, and I had many other visits set up. But like I said, again, I had to get on the plane ride and travel there back home. And that was another miserable, like, oh my God, this is terrible. And what I also didn't like, something that would have probably pushed me off, was the fact that when I got to Texas, it was so country that it was ridiculous. There were no sidewalks where I thought should be sidewalks. There was less street lights. There were bugs everywhere, bushes and stuff. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, why isn't there concrete all over this stuff? So, you know what I mean? People can live here. You know what I mean? So it was weird in that way. So I had left, like I said, thinking, I was like, all right, cool, it's fine. I can deal with that. I'm going to go to Texas A&M. I have all these other offers up, but I could not be bothered to get on a plane ride. I will not get on another plane. That was my big sell. Like, I don't actually want to get on a plane and go to Georgia. I don't want to get on a plane and go to Clemson. I was like, that's further than Texas. Like that's, I don't know, it's probably a 6-hour trip. So that was the biggest reason as to why I chose Texas A&M. Yeah, they had the titles, but if anybody else had those titles, but I got to Texas, and what I didn't factor in is that at the time, Texas A&M did not have a home track. So because they didn't have a home track, every weekend we would be on a plane going somewhere else. And I was like, yo, every weekend I was going somewhere on a plane. I'm like, I freaking hate plane rides.
Wrong school.
What was I thinking? I'm thinking like, I'm about to nip it in the bud right now. I'm about to go to the school, one more visit, and it'll be the last visit I ever move. No. Dude, like, you have to fly out every weekend. We're going to New York. We're going to this place. We're going to that place. We're going to this. But it wasn't so bad as when I first came there, because I had my teammates around me at this point, and so that was ideal. But yeah, that's why I chose Texas A&M, literally because I could not be bothered to take another plane ride anywhere else for a visit. I thought in my head, for what? Visit? In my head, I was like, what am I visiting for? Because these people they're organized. Doesn't look like I can have too much fun here. And that was a big decision. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be focused. And they win everything. Why would I go to the loser school? I don't even like, I think I'm just this time. Maybe I might have. It's funny. I might have chose something different had I known.
That's hilarious, bro. But you know what's funny, man? Bro, I'm still like, how wasn't every school after you with 10, 16, and 20.3? Like, I don't understand. Like, I was a top recruit in my junior college in the nation, and I ran 10-1 and 20.6. So I'm thinking to your 200 time is ahead of mine by 3 seconds, and I'm like, yo, how is it? But that's beside the point. I digress, because that's just crazy to me. But Amir, when you look back at your collegiate career, man, I mean, what does it make you think of? Because you've got individual titles, you've got national championships, but years later, when you look back, man, are you happy with how it went, or did you think you could have done more?
It's funny you asked that. I had so my senior year after the national championships, I had won the 200. That year I won the indoor 200 and the outdoor 200. I scored, I think, like 13 points at nationals. I came home, the whole crowd was there for us, welcomed us in, escorted us to the spot. They had like a little parade for us at the school. All said and done, I took a picture with my best friend, my roommate at the time. We had suits on, we had the national title in our hand. Like I said, the whole school, whole town was there taking pictures. Newspaper was there. Aggies bring back national title to College Station. And, I'm thinking just from that part, from Cerritos, for Cerritos up until that point, I'm like, dude, what happened? Like, you did everything that, you know what I mean? Like, you did everything that wasn't planned. You planned nothing, and all the things that you probably should plan actually happened for you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's wild. So after that, I was like, that's, it blew my mind too much. I pressed on. Collected my after the whole parade was over, I collected my bags off the bus, and I started going back to my car, and it kind of just hit me, and I'm like, yo, it's over. Like, you know what I mean? That's it for you. You know what I mean? There won't be another stadium where people will be in there and watch you run track. There won't be any things like that no more. And then I asked myself, like, well, did you do enough? Could you have done more? You know what I mean? And then I actually, on my own, no one was around, I started crying. You know what I mean? I had to cry to myself. I'm like, yo, if I could go back, I would try harder, even though I won the national title. You know what I mean? My team has won it. I took what, like, I think it was like fifth in the 100, like, 100-meter runner, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, well, maybe I could have won the 100 and I should just focus. But they were like, I literally was having a breakdown, like, yo, I don't know what else to do. You know what I mean? What could I have done? So I look back on it in, like, you know what I mean? I won the national title, won 3 titles in my time there, just from my junior year to my senior 2 years I was there. It's probably, if there was another me, I would ask, well, what more do you want from yourself? You like, you're only there 2 years, you won 3 titles, like,
everything.
Dude, what do you want? Yeah, you did everything. Your team won. Like, what more would you have liked to complete? But I don't know, that the current me at that time was just like, nah, dude, it's over. Like, I should have did more. You know what I mean? Almost like when the ride was over, I put my hands up and I was just being scared, tucking myself in. But now that the ride was over, you're like, it's so bad. And like, well, if I could go back and on that ride again, skip the line and get on again right now, we just run it back. I'd enjoy it so much more. And for me, I think that's kind of what it was. Like, I felt like I did a lot, but like maybe I didn't enjoy it as much. Maybe I should have just really just got enthralled and just let it grab me. And I don't know, I guess I just didn't. So afterwards, like, I felt accomplished, but then I felt unaccomplished. I'm like, dude, like, well, can I go back? Can I do it again? But I just really felt like I hadn't done everything at the time. But now that I'm older and I look back, like, dude, you did everything you could. Like, there were times that you could have did a little bit more, right? But like, you can't have it all. Like, you could have won the one.
Yeah, like, well, I remember because I got to Alabama 2013, and I remember there was that year that we had SEC championships in Missouri, right? And it was the first time I ever seen you, and you were, bro. I was like, bro, junior college was a grind. It was hard, man. But to get myself from where I came in fighting injuries to being one of the top recruits in the country, I'm like, man, finally I'm here, right? Being able to see what happened now. And I remember, bro, you were in like lane 8 and it was like the heats. And I remember the race started and you were gone. And I was like, okay, he's gonna cruise, he's gonna take it easy. But you just kept stepping. And in lane 8, you kept going and kept going and kept going. And you ran like 20.3. And I remember looking at my teammates. I remember looking at DeAndre. I was like, bro, why did he run that fast in the heats? Like, what type of thing is this? And that's when I realized, like, the SEC is like, I was like, oh, frig, there's different levels to this thing, which goes to my next question, Amir. You were thinking about, man, did I do enough or could I have done more? But now the time is up. And I had Marvin Bracey on last season, and we were talking about transition from collegiate to the pros. And he was like, bro, he was like, one time he went home from practice and he turned on the light switch, and the light switch, like, no lights came on. And he was just like, oh, that's right, you got to pay the bills.
Yes.
What was transition like for you, man? Because I don't think this is talked about too much, and I try and talk about it, but it is not the same, bro. Like, no way ands or buts, because you are in control of every single thing. How was transition for you? Did you find it tough? Did you struggle with it, or did it just come naturally?
I struggled a little bit. Like, the thing was for me is, like, financially I was fine. I have this contract now, right? So now it's just kind of like I got the means, but like, it's, for me, it was kind of, I guess it never was about the means to transition. It was more so about finding a system or finding something like to replicate what I had in college. Because what made it fun for me, because I'm not a track person, like, you know what I mean? And just because a lot of these things, like, yeah, now you're responsible for this, that, and the other. And it's all like, well, dude, the only reason I knew half those things is because I was in a system and they kind of just, what I mean? All I have to do is just bring the talent and just do what they asked me to do. And so it was hard now that I wasn't in college anymore, and I was now doing this professional. And I'd show up to the track and I don't have a whole bunch of teammates around me, whether they be 800, 400-meter runners, whatever. But that alone made me felt good about, or just ready to do things and ready to be better, with having other people around me wanting to do better as well. So like, okay, I can do this. But showing up to an empty track and you got the workout was not it for me. It crushed me. I had lots of like thoughts in my head, doubting thoughts. not that I wasn't fast enough, but just like, what are you doing out here? You know what I mean? Like, this is nuts. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of all at one time, you're professional. Now you do this for a living. So now it's just you, and you can't have a group of people around you because, not everybody's getting paid to do this. It's just you. So that alone kind of just tore me apart on the inside. Like, I don't know how, you know what I mean? Like, what am I doing this for? A lot of times, like I said earlier, like, I'm competitive. The reason I do so well is because I'm always trying to compete wherever I'm at. You know what I mean? I can look at the next guy and be like, all right, I'm do better. You know what I mean? Over and over and over. And eventually I rise to my own talent. So that was the roughest bit for everything, was trying to find somewhere that replicated that feel. And for me to be talented, like for me to be successful, that's what I needed. It's strange because even till now, like I guess maybe it's the discipline or whatever. It's just something I lack that doesn't allow me to train as hard as I can and be successful as I can be if it's just me out there. I don't have enough love for this sport to just go out there and do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not in me. I'm more, like I said, I'm a team-oriented kind of person. So I like football, basketball, whatever those are, because there's a team there. Where everyone's doing this. Everyone's trying to be successful, and that's what drives me. But if it's just me, it's like it's you versus you. You's telling you, you got it. You know what I mean? You win.
You got it today, because I don't.
Yeah, so it's like that was the hardest bit out of everything. But paying for stuff that I need to pay for was cool. That was that's legit. The hardest thing was, in transitioning was, finding somewhere, a good training spot to keep this going. Otherwise, if I didn't find the training spot that I found in 2016, 2015, I was going to quit because this is boring. I don't want to do this anymore because it's not fun. And I'm all fun before a lot of things, probably before a lot of important things, but that's me.
I remember 2015. I just gotten to Altus at this point, and I was having a pretty decent year, but mostly just coming back. I was having a decent year because I was really just healthier than I've ever been, right? And that was kind of the biggest thing for me. But I remember reading an article that you said that came out because it really stuck to me because, man, I understand, like, bro, I understand frustration in sport probably better than most people, any athlete I go tit for tat with. But in this article, you said, 2015, you said, I had trained so hard in 2015. You were at UCLA and you were going back and forth there every day. And you said, I felt like I'd done everything asked of me, and to go there and get sixth place, I was devastated, man. What type of feeling did that have for you? Because many people, they only see results, right? They see the results, but it's like, yo, there's so much that goes into said result that you see. You wanted to walk away at that point. What kept you going? Because the next year, that's when you came over to Phoenix.
What kept me going, I do remember that article for sure. I did it too. Like I just, like I said, I had trained so hard, and like I said, just those thoughts, even when I'm by myself and I'm training, they're just doubtful thoughts. Like, what are you doing out here? Like, you know what I mean? And those thoughts continue even when if I'm in a group, and it's, you know what I mean? I'm here and I'm training with that group, and there may be people in runs or, just different exercises that we're doing, and I'm giving it all I can, and I am literally in my head like, there's something in my head like, please stop. I am tired. I am so tired. Just quit right now. Put the weight down. You know what I mean? Stop moving your feet. Put your hands on your knees and breathe for me, please. And then I'm battling those thoughts in my head like, no, we have to keep going because we have to be great. We have to be better. We have to. You know what I mean? Like over and over and over in my head. And then like, so these thoughts are battling. So, well, this shit better pay off if we're going to be doing all this, because I'm exhausted right now. I am exhausted. You're going to press me. You know what I mean? Self is telling you, I don't want to do this. And you keep pressing on, talking about some future result that's going to happen. current self now is like, I don't see that happening. Future self is like, it will happen. Just keep working hard. And like, so even when I'm on my deathbed, I'm still putting one foot in front of the other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this better work. Yeah. That is the feeling that, like I said, when you get somewhere and like, here it is, we're live like a Super Bowl kickoff, you know what I mean? And it doesn't go to plan. You're like, I told you, you know what I mean? You did all that work and you played me. I told you to stop. You could have stopped. You now look at us. You know what I mean? Now we're nowhere further. We didn't get where we wanted to go. And you put yourself through all that stuff. I mean, the driving, the tired nights I have to wake, go to sleep just to wake up and do it all again in the morning. The traffic for sixth place. I could have sworn I worked harder than that. You know what I mean? Like that's the irritation that I had. Now, what kept me going to Phoenix was the fact that I had one more year in my contract, and I was like, all right, well, you know what I mean? I had stacked some money, saved some money up, and then what's it called? I was gonna go. I had the opportunity. Andreas hit me up, and he was all like, "Look, hey, we got a spot for you if you want to come out here. Got a good coach, a good place, good environment." And I was like, man, and then like he hit me with the price. He was talking about like $15K. I was like, $15K? Yo, just to train? Yeah. Like to this point, I don't think I had paid one coach that, that I was with. So I was like, sheesh, $15K. So then I kind of started to think about it, and I'm like, man, all right. They got the hot tubs, therapist, a coach. I don't even know anything about this coach. You know what I mean? Like, so this coach, I heard he's training, I think it was a Nassau at the time. Like, Nassau just won a medal. I know him faster than a Nassau. You know what I mean? In my head, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I used to beat him up in college. You know what I mean? So, like, he could do that with a Nassau. Then I'm thinking,
imagine what he could do with me.
Yeah, let me, no shade to Nassau. But, that's what was going on in my head at the time. Like, shit, at least be on par with fool. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, yo, but $15K though, man. So I'm like, all right, check this out. If we gonna make this the last, you know what I mean? The last time we're gonna do this, right? And we're gonna pay this $15K, okay? Because hey, you might have heard a TED talk on investing yourself probably prior to this decision. So I'm like,
and it hits you. It lined up. It lined up. I get it.
Oh yeah. So I just, said, forget it. I'll pay the money. And Amir, this will be the last time we do this. So like, you know what I mean? Give it your all. Whatever, have you listen to what they're saying. Forget about, my old coach and, I like to just, hey, look, I paid my money. So whatever you say at this point is what's going to happen. So that's what honestly brought me back just to, it kind of just said, hey, you're investing in yourself. You're doing it the right way. You got every tool you need. They may not be, they got this German biomechanist that can put, you know what I mean? That could, we don't have that here, but we have something of if we were to grade the tools that are here, it's a C+ tool. It's a B. That's fine. I just need the tools, and I'll figure it out as the talent how I'm going to make this work for myself. And that's kind of what I did there. I got hot tubs, cold tubs, therapist, coach. Cool, fine. And I'll work with those tools to build whatever skyscraper that I need to build. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I took it. And then, like I said, if the skyscraper just falls down afterwards,
it falls
all
down.
Right. I did all I could do. I had every tool to me, and I can die on that hill. I can die on the rubble of my skyscraper that fell because I was like, hey, I did all I could. So
what's crazy is when you hear about how you were talking at A&M and all the components it took to run fast there, Altus was in that new beginning because, bro, in 2015, bro, there was like 4 or 5 sprinters. Like, it wasn't deep at all. But the next year, it got a little bigger, but the group of the elite of people that we had, bro, there'd be times where I'm like, if you can keep up with these guys here, there's a good chance you're gonna make a final. You know what I'm saying? Because we had that much deepness in 2016, like you made that Olympic team. So the year before, you were saying this has to work out and has to play out. You made that team, and I think it's very important to mention that, like, man, the USA team is by far the hardest team to make because you guys are so, bro, every year there's somebody new. Like, literally every year there's something new. But
I was new at one point.
what did it feel like to make that illustrious thing that people talk about as the Olympic team and the Olympic Games. Did you feel like the sacrifices you made and the decision paid off, or were you just like, man, this is what I expected?
Oh, dude, like just to, like I said, when I got back there, we went to Mount Sac and I ran fast at Mount Sac. And I'm like, and even when we went to Mount Sac, I didn't believe those times. You know what I mean? I'm like
990 and 1985. I know 990 because that was the last time we raced, and I ran like 10:14. And I was like, dang, I was like, yo, Amir's gone, but I couldn't tell you were gone because I was in the race. I was
like, yo, I remember. So when I first got to Altus, you were known like to me as he's a starter. You know what I mean? So like this guy is gonna rip the start at least every single time. Like, so don't expect to get him. You know what I mean? So like, just like when you were talking about the caliber of our camp, you know what I mean? We had an elite starter for sure. You know what I mean? So like every time we got in the blocks, that was so when we had Kofi, I know Kofi is a strong runner throughout, you know what I mean? Throughout the run, whatever. So I would take when I'm sharpening my tools, I'm gonna take that tool over there and sharpen, the long distance running, kind of that strong running over the 200, 250s, whatever we're doing. But when it came to blocks, I was like, all right, let me switch tools because and I would always try, this guy is a starter. If I can keep up with him, if I can combine the start of Akeem with the, you know what I mean? With the endurance running, I won't be beaten. You know what I mean? Like I would be ultra mega at any point. So that was my mindset every day when I would go with these categories of people, because you know what I mean, I never felt like I fit in any one exactly, because I could start, I could do a bunch of these things, but these guys are just really great at each one of these things, and you know what I mean. So that being said, energy, I would try to like I said, hone it and work on it. But becoming an Olympian, dude, like I said, that was my first team I ever made. So I had been trying year after year. Was the Olympic team was the first team I made. And all I wanted to do was just make a team. You know what I mean? Like I was like, dude, how can I be a national champion in freaking college? And these same people are in college are here, and I can't even, I can't win the nationals at, you know what I mean, at the elite level. And then not only that, I'm not even making the team. These teams are going by after by. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. You know what I mean? So like, part of that investment also was thinking like, I'm about to, you know what I mean, I just need to make a team. Doesn't even matter what the team is, don't care.
Make something.
I gotta make something happen, you know what I mean? It don't matter. This is the last one, so it could be the, you know what I mean, the NACAC team. Don't care. You know what I mean? And I always made those ones too, but I always turned them down because it wasn't Pan Am's, NACAC. They just like, this is the consolation one. Like, I don't want the consolation championship. Nobody cares about that one. I mean, they do, not to belittle anyone's championships or anything, but to me, I was like, nah, everyone's trying to go to world championships. No one says, nah, I don't want to go to world championships. I want to go to that. No one says that, right? So, so we're going there and it didn't mean anything to me. So I was like, nah, forget those teams. But so that Olympics was my first team that I had made, and I didn't know what to expect because I had never been to a world championship. So I'm thinking like, I guess this is just how it goes. Again, the point was just to like, even before Mount Sac, I didn't want my goal was don't run 11 seconds here. You get out here and you run 11 seconds, you're trash. Okay, so don't do that.
It's funny because I remember you actually saying that. I was like, bro, I just don't want to. I was like, bro, you have not, bro, there's no way. You're like, bro, I just don't want to run 11 seconds. Yeah. No, you said, I don't want to run 11 seconds in front of my family.
Yes, because we're at Mount Sac or Cali. I'm like, yo, like, I don't want to be away from family telling me I'm doing all this stuff and then get back here and run 11 seconds to take class. So like, that was my goal. Like, so a lot of my goals were just so bottom basic, you know what I mean? And then I would just do 10 times way better. So like, yeah, making a team, that's all I want to do. And it just so happened, and like, and things were just kind of happening one after the other. Like after Mount Sac, I didn't believe the times. I'm like, it's my home track at Cerritos, so like they probably, gave me a little bit of someone stood in front of the fan or whatever. So I didn't even rate them. I was like, yeah, whatever. So I went to Doha, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a Diamond League. And I had been in Diamond Leagues before, but I'm in lane 5 this time. You know what I mean?
Bro, you're in great shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in great shape, and I'm in lane 5. I had never been in lane 5 in a Diamond League before. Normally, like, I just got in, so they throw me in 8 or put me in 2 or whatever. So I'm running the races, and I'm like, man. And then on top of that, they had flew me out there like week or in a 2 day in Doha, just chilling for a good 4 days before I was like, oh, so now I'm about to get acclimated and everything. So I'm like, I am ready. You feel me? Like I could, you know what I mean? So I have felt good, and then I'm realizing. So I get on the line, and then I'm not so far behind people because like I've gone to Diamond Leagues, ran 2080, 2070, you know what I mean? 2060, just in the back, struggling to, I don't want to take last here. Like I've done that before.
Get somebody.
Yeah, get somebody in there. You know what I mean? So I can't even think beyond that. So now I'm in one. I'm in shape. I'm in lane 5. I know what lane 5 means in track. You know what I mean? Lane 5, that's the guy. You know what I mean? That's the, you know what I mean? So they pegged me as to be the guy. So now that's clocked on a little bit in my head. And then so instead of, and so now it's kind of getting more heavy as I'm getting closer and closer to the day. And now I'm on the, I'm walking out to the track, and I'm like, this is real. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I've done it before, but this one's more real because it's like, yo, you actually have a chance to do things here. You know what I mean? Like, they're expecting you to do things here. So I'm walking out, and I'm looking into the crowd a little bit. And I'm like, oh, no. Look down. Keep looking on the ground because I don't want to get lost in the whatever, what have you. And then get on the line, and then people are, like I said, I started noticing some of the names in here. I'm like, these are some legit people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are, if you remember, Nick Ashmead's here, freaking Isaiah Young's in this race. I'm like, these are some hitters. Alonzo Edwards is in this thing. I'm like, this guy just won the Diamond League last year. So, you know what I mean? Like, what have you gotten yourself into, Amir? So I'm looking. I'm like, all right, gun goes off, I run. And then 1985 happens. And I go, well, they don't bullshit at Diamond League. I ran 2070 at these meets before. Yeah, this one's gotta be real. You know what I mean? So when I crossed out, I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then like that night I had won 10K, 2.5 for the meet record. I broke the meet record there. I was like, wow, I just broke a Diamond League record too, like a meet record. I'm like, this is, you know what I mean? Like shit is just happening. You know what I mean? And then my contract matches it. So at that night, for my first open, it wasn't my first opener, but my big opener, I guess, you know what I mean, an official blase, I had won 15K. And I was like, yo. And that was the 15K that I had invested in myself. Is telling myself, I was like, yo, like the exact number. I had put like, Alta said 15. I was like, man, I was in my pocket. I get in my first Diamond League race, run a meet record, win the race, bonuses and everything, 15K. Here you go. Investment back. I'm like, oh, this is nuts. And so I say that just because things I didn't plan any of these things. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't plan to go to Doha. I just got into Doha. And I was like, all right, I'll run it. Why would I go? You know what I mean? Like to my head, I'm like, why would I get on this plane and go hella hours over here just to come back? I was like, all right, whatever, it's cool. So I get in, I do it. It's early in the season. And like I said, it happens. Boom. And then the next thing happened. Then I go to Rome and I drop a home after going 20.0 in the 200. Since I was like, wow, and now I'm a sub 10 runner. And now I put almost 2:19 seconds underneath my belt. Mm-hmm. Shit's just going crazy. So I'm going to meet after meet after meet. I'm running all these different races. And I hadn't stopped, I hadn't thought about nationals yet. I hadn't thought about like making the team. I was just kind of just going to the next event. People were just signing me up for stuff. And I just told myself like, hey, like I said, I was about to quit. And I can't turn down an opportunity. So like, whatever. So I'm just running. And then we get to the point where it's like, okay, now we're at nationals. And then it clicks in my head. I'm like, oh, I said I wanted to run. I wanted to make a team. And then I'm thinking on that, I'm like, this is the Olympic team. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, that makes a difference. People, and people are coming out of the woodworks just like, and so you had Noah Lyles, Michael Norman in that same, so those upcoming stars they're waxing legends. You had 18-year-old kids waxing legends out there. I'm like, oh, Tyson K's down. Oh, like just people, I'm like, yo, these kids do not care what you are, who you are. You know what I mean? They're just running these times. And so I'm like, yo, okay, cool. So I run in and it happens. And now I'm an Olympian. And I'm like, this is like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, it's like someone just dropping all these gifts that I literally just wanted one gift. And there was just so many blessings that were just coming down. And I'm like, this is nuts. I was just so taken back, like of all the things that were actually happening. It's not like wrote down goals. Like, they say, yeah, write down your goals and attack them. I really just wrote down some simple things. Don't run 11 seconds. Try to make the team. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. But what probably didn't happen was I didn't maybe I didn't maybe dream big enough, because when I got to the Olympics, when I made that team, I took a deep breath and I was like, oh, okay, it's done. Right? I've done what I wanted to do, right? And then things started, getting laxed a little bit. I got to it hit me again of who I was, because like I said, I was real lax and chill about it. Everyone was really uptight about it's the Olympics, and I'm like, this is my first team, dude. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just happy to be here at this point. And then, like I said, we get to I get on the line. I'm in the prelims of the Olympics, and I'm sitting on the line, and the guy announces all the the big hitters in the race. And at this point, I know I'm a big hitter, so you know what I mean. It feels good. But there's a little other, Diamond League status now, back. So after that, like, I'm like, okay, cool. So he only announces like 3 people out of the all 8 that were on the thing, and I'm one of the 3 people. I'm like, this feels good. Kind of messed up for the others who don't get announced. But, you know what I mean? But that's not my problem. You know, I do what I have to do.
Yeah.
And then so he says, and the 3rd fastest man in the world. And I was like, and he says my name, and I was like, oh, I've made it to this point in the season at the Olympics on the line for the championships of the championships, not your national championships. And now you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're the 3rd fastest man in the world. And I was like, what? Well, I already know who number 1 is. And then DeGrasse was the other guy. I was like, dude, I'm number 3. I've never been number 3 when it comes to this stuff ever. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. So that blew my mind. Like, again, another blessing. So that kind of put more on my shoulders. Like, yo, like, I'm a somebody. You know what I mean? I'm like, and then it was at that point where I actually probably started taking the sport a little bit more serious. It was like, yo, you can do it. And I mean, you did all this without even making a plan for it, or actually putting anything planned to action to making, you know what I mean? I did put things in place, but it was more so just like, I don't know, dude, like, I was just doing the best I can whenever I could, and it happened.
Amir,
like I said,
bro, that's that's so crazy that was your first team, man. But man, it's kind of like interesting how things line up, and this is the way that God works, right? There was a breaking point in 2015. And then it came together in 2016, right? But how do you handle dealing with the setbacks and the frustration and the anxiety and sometimes the depressive state that comes from it? Because those are all seeds, and those same seeds are in all of us, right? Because there's going to be people listening to this and they're like, yo, bro, I was talking to a young cat the other day, and he was just like, bro, this track stuff is it's hard. So what would you say to them that has helped you keep going, that you could share with the audience? Because, bro, it's one of the worst things you want to do in track and field, right, is get hurt or have a down year.
Yeah.
How do you fight those balances, man, and get out of your own head and keep staying the course?
To be honest with you and whoever is listening, is I don't do a good job of that at all. I'm terrible at that. To be honest with you, when those things of anxieties attack me and they're in my head that way, and I have down years, it makes a lot of things worse within me. Honestly, maybe it's something that I have dealt with in my past that allows me to keep moving forward, even though I feel the way I feel, even though I am depressive. But a lot of times, I see those, like, I put those things in my head and I make them 10 times worse. A lot of times, most of the suffering you do is probably in your own head. They haven't even happened yet. Yeah. And and then so beyond that, it's just like I create scenarios to where, like, these people are after you. These people don't care about you. These people, they want you to fail. And that creates I don't know, some type of, I guess, hatred or not creates an anger inside of me that I'm like, that's what you believe about me, you know what I mean? And then I tend to walk around and they're like, yeah, all of you are just patronizing monkeys in my life that are just trying to antagonize me and make me. So then I get on the track, put that all on the ball, on the track, and I hit it. You know what I mean? I let you believe this about me, then that's fine. Or You know what I mean? But no one believes these are things about me. That's not true. I know that I'm creating this, but I guess that's how I deal with it. Is just make it into something that they're against you. They don't want you to win, and they don't believe you can. And now we need to go out there and we need to show them that we can, that they're wrong, that they're haters. And then once we beat them, then what will they say? Then what words will they use to get? No one's used any words right now. These are just a lot of times just me. You know what I mean? I think maybe that's how I've gotten through it too. It's just me realizing it's not raining, dude. You're making it rain. it's the cloud, the weather is fine. You're creating weather that really isn't there just because of how you feel. Change how you feel, and then it'll, you know what I mean? But it's not real. What you're perceiving isn't real. But a lot of times I'll buy into it to give me more motivation into just whatever. But it's not the healthiest way to do it. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a double-edged sword, right? Like helps you out, but at the same time, it's just cutting.
Bro, and it's sharp, and it gets sharper and sharper and sharper. Yeah, man, bro, that's so good, man. It's not raining. You're making it rain. Amir, last question that I have for you, man, because bro, we could talk for hours on, man. So now you don't have to co-sign with this one, but again, this is how I feel. I don't feel like, and I've said this before to different people and in different public settings, I said, man, I don't feel like you've gotten the respect that you have earned, because nobody deserves anything, right? You got to earn it. And because to me, bro, I look at all the times that I've watched you train, all the times that 2017, 2018, bro, you won the 200 back to back. And I was like, yo, nobody's talking about this. Like, the man just defended his title. He's probably one of the few to do that, especially in America. I'm like, yo, where's the love? And I say that in context to ask you, you know the situation, you know how you feel better than anybody else. But do you feel like you've gotten the respect in the sport that you believe that you've earned? Or maybe it doesn't even matter to you, right? But I think we as athletes, we as people in general, we always want to feel like we're a little appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like you've gotten the respect that you deserve? Because in my humble opinion, bro, I don't think you have.
In my opinion, I think when I was at the top of my game, I did not get the respect that I deserve at all.
You weren't even the favorite when you were the champion, bro.
No, even when I was in college, I didn't get the respect I would deserve. I had one indoor, came second outdoor my junior year. I had one indoor again, and I had got to the outdoor bit, and it was Bryce Sean Ellen, Isaiah Young, Charles Silverman, and then it was me. And I was all like, what do you mean? Then it was me. Like, how am I the fourth pick? When it came to the 200, I'm either one or two. You know what I mean? And same thing when it came to came outdoor. During the time I had ran my best times. You know what I mean? And the time I did defend my title was 17 and 8 surgery. After I had hip surgery, and I didn't put spikes on until what, January or February, or I think even March even. And then later that year, I win the 200. So even in that, I did not get the respect I deserve. Like I said, I've been around, but at the same time, as I talk to other athletes, it's I see that kind of what made me feel better is just when I talk to other athletes, they do recognize the things that I have done. I think because of the person I am, allows them to, voice that to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They probably wouldn't tell me, but people who allow them to say that, hey, you've been in some tough spots, and you know what I mean. You came out on top when a lot of people didn't even expect you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's incredible. But yeah, maybe from like the associations and like the people above the athletes, I don't get the respect from them. A lot of times I see that when I get lane draws. A lot of times I see that when I'm trying to enter, and I'm like, I see other people online. I was like, I've done several times over what this guy has done, and how does he have a lane over me? You know what I mean? Or how does he, you know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. But that's just how the sport works. A lot of times it's kind of like what we're starting to see too, or more of, is like popularity. You don't really necessarily have to be the greatest athlete. You just got to look good, look the part, post your social media, stay relevant. You know what I mean? That's all marketing, right? Because they want to market the meet and all that thing. So me, I just kind of go out there and I run and I disappear. I don't say nothing to nobody. I say whatever, talk to my little circle, but other than that, so maybe in the sense that I'm maybe not so exciting to run. Not so exciting to see to run. So I don't know, but yeah, I feel you on that. A lot of times I do feel like I am underrated, but I think that's the perfect spot for me because, again, it just matches my anxieties. It just adds on to what I'm already got going. So if you give me the cookie, then I'm like, oh, well, maybe they don't think that about me. And then my heart softens and then I don't push off the line like, you're out here trying to murder my mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't give me the cookie. You think I'm garbage, plays into what I'm already thinking. And then that push is going to be a lot more harder. I get excited in that way just because, yes, I told you. No one told you. You know what I mean? But it just makes it all the better for me to do in that sense. So yeah, I get where you're coming from, definitely. So I will agree in some ways, but in other ways, that's just the freaking sport. You got to imagine what Fred Curley's doing, you know what I mean? This guy has to promote himself. You know what I mean?
Single meet, and he goes out every single meet and he performs, and I'm just like, bro, it's again, bro. Like you said, the sport is sometimes now starting to be more of a popularity thing. And do you look the part? But the thing is, man, before I let you go, man, one, the athletes always respect who, and they know who doesn't get the love, but they're still dogs, right? And they're still dominant at it. I remember, bro, I knew before you that you were gonna run fast at Cerritos, because bro, the year before, 2015, bro, I ran 6:51. I was in the shape of my life. I could have ran probably sub 10 in January, right? But I ran 6'5". When you run one time, everybody's just like, oh, fluke. But I kept running it and running it and running it. But then the next year I was like, bro, I've got 6'5" in any type of start. And I remember, bro, there was a time we were doing blocks. It was like me, you, CJ, Kofi, and Kofi got left this one. I'm sorry, Kofi, if you're listening, you got left this one. I remember, bro, we're going to 40, and we got to 40, and I got there, but I was just like, bro, I can see Amir right next to me. What the frick is this about? I was like, and that's when I knew, because you were a complete sprinter, right? I was like, man, once he gets upright running, I'm like, he's in sub 10. And Stu was just like, I don't think so. I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, he's in sub 10. And then look what you did. You're at 990 and 1995, bro. But bro, I appreciate the time, man. We'll have to do a part 2 at some point down the road, bro. I know you don't do this too much, but I appreciate you, man. And we'll touch base a little later, bro. What's the best way for people to follow the journey, man? Because I see you snipping on Twitter here and there, but then you be off for 2 weeks and then you come back.
Yeah, those are my anxieties, bro. If I'm tweeting or whatever, like I said, I don't like to put too much of myself out there because I don't know, the public eye on Instagram, Twitter, wherever it may be. Twitter's better for me because, like I said, that's where I'll go. If you want to see content, if you want to see me more than 3 months apart, then definitely go follow my Twitter at FastLikeWebb. But that's all my handles are at FastLikeWebb. So again, yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's just me. I don't like to be out there. So doing stuff like this is kind of
oh man, that's why I appreciate it, man. I know people are gonna be like, oh my God, that's Amir. So I know you said a lot of good things that people need to see inside of you, man. So again, bro, appreciate the time, man. And of course, we'll stay in touch, bro.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
All right, man. Later, man.